Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some things that people said that they'd like to see happen in Frozen 3. And I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on these ideas and telling you about my own thoughts about what I'd like to see happen in Frozen 3 as well. Now, when I'm bringing this video out will mark 10 years since I first saw Frozen. So anyway, let's get into this. Now, one of the things that actually has been talked about since, I think maybe even before Frozen 2 was announced, which was Elsa finding true love. Now, I myself don't really think that's the best idea. I mean, it actually kind of would be interesting in a way. I mean, honestly, I have mixed opinions about it. I think it would be cool if somebody, loved Elsa, but, and maybe she could just, be afraid that he loves her for her powers and not for her herself. I mean, that would really be interesting. Or maybe, she might be afraid of him finding out that she has powers. Or, I don't know, I mean, that actually kind of would be interesting, but another part of me doesn't want that to happen because, Frozen is not, like the Disney classic princess stories. It's, sure, Anna has Kristoff, which I really think, that's really all the, true love kind of thing that Frozen really needs, because Frozen focuses on the love between two sisters, which of course is Anna and Elsa. So I really think it would be not really fit if Elsa found love, but in a way I think that yet again would be interesting. So yeah, I honestly have mixed opinions about this one, but it would kind of be interesting. But anyway, now another thing that people have talked about is Anna and Elsa's parents. And I think that some people believe that they're actually still alive, and I kind of think so myself, or at least Elsa's mother, because it was revealed that Elsa's mom was the voice that was calling her. And later on, after I see all the movie a few times, I'm like, wait a minute. But if she was the voice and she's dead, how could she be the voice? So, yeah, I really don't understand that. So, I think that she's alive just because she was the voice that was calling Elsa. So, yeah. And also, people have even talked about what could have happened to Kristoff's parents, because if I'm not mistaken, we never hear anything about them at all. So, yeah, I know we don't hear anything about them in the movie. We know that he was adopted by the trolls, but about his actual parents, we don't know anything about them. So, yeah, it would really be interesting to know something about them now more than ever, since Kristoff is now engaged to Anna, and since she's the queen. Wouldn't that mean that he would be the king? Which I'll get more into that in a minute. So yeah, that would be so amazing for them to know that their son is about to become a king, a king by marriage, because he's marrying a queen, so obviously wouldn't he be the next king of Arendelle? I don't really know how all that would work, how much authority he would have, but I'll get more into that later. But anyway, yes, that would be so cool for Kristoff to find his parents and them find out that he's the new king of Arendelle. That would be so cool. Yeah. Now, another thing that people have talked about is Anna having powers. And most people seem to think that she has or will have fire powers. But I don't know. I don't really think that's the case. Sure, maybe for her she would inherit them later, but if I'm not mistaken, Anna's 24 now, I think. She could even be older by now, but I would think that, if she was going to have powers, she would have had them. Either she would be born with them like Elsa, or they would just come up eventually. I don't know. I've heard someone say that it's possible that maybe the accident that happened with Anna and Elsa when they were little, when Elsa accidentally struck her, that it's possible that that might have done something to her powers. But, if Anna had fire powers like people say she has, that they're thinking that she has or will have, I mean, if she did, wouldn't that have protected her from Elsa's powers? I mean, wouldn't it? Not unless she had it and it just wasn't time for her to, for them to work or whatever. I don't know, but I seriously doubt that, that she has powers. I mean, that kind of would be interesting, but I kind of like the idea of just one of them having powers. But another thing I heard about is it's possible that maybe in Frozen 3 that Anna might have a daughter, which that would really be amazing. And maybe she could have powers. Now that would be cool. But I guess really only time will tell. So yes, there's all kinds of possibilities of things that could happen in the future for Frozen. There's just so many interesting things that could happen. And it would also be something, I did mention before about how people have talked about Elsa finding her love. Again, I'm not sure if that'll happen, but if so, that would really, really be interesting if they had a daughter. That would be wild. And, since Elsa has powers, obviously she would probably inherit something, but I don't know, I mean, we find out how come Elsa has powers in Frozen 2, so what would be the reason for her daughter to have powers other than her, being Elsa's daughter and inheriting her powers? But I feel like there would have to be more than that, for her to have powers. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Even though it's probably gonna be a long time before we get Frozen 3, but who knows, it might be sooner than we think. And something else that would also be interesting is to see Hans again. Now, he hasn't been seen since, technically Frozen, but he actually hasn't truly been seen since Frozen Fever. Because there is a part in Frozen Fever where we do see a little bit of him, and that's truly it. After Frozen, that is it. So it kind of would be interesting to see if he's going to try and get, revenge on Anna and Elsa. And, maybe try and take over the kingdom again. And, with Anna being queen, maybe he thinks that he could, do something. I don't know, but it would be interesting to see him again, see what he's got planned this time. And people have talked about his return since even before Frozen 2, so his return has been talked about for years. So it would be interesting to see Hans return. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what he's up to now, if anything. Maybe he's trying to get revenge or something, or maybe he has reformed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he will eventually find a kingdom to rule, and maybe he becomes terrible at it. Maybe he'll realize that he can't take on that role. That would be interesting. Even if that doesn't happen in Frozen 3, if that just happens in a book or something, that would be interesting, because there is a series with different stories of Anna and Elsa. So maybe there could be a story about maybe where Hans takes over a kingdom, or at least even temporarily, and maybe he realizes that he can't do it. It's too much responsibility, so maybe that's a possibility. So yeah, I mean, there's all kind of interesting things that could happen in Frozen 3. And I gotta say, it would be interesting to see Hans again, and and see what he's got planned, if anything. And I don't know, there's just so many possibilities with, Frozen in general. And also, it would also be interesting, again, I mentioned before about Kristoff's parents, and then him finding, him finding them, and then them realizing that he's going to be king since, he's going to marry Anna. But the fact that he's going to be a king, because obviously Anna's the queen now, and if he marries her, wouldn't he, be the king? Of course, I don't know what Arundel's laws are. And I gotta say, I wonder if, he would have more authority than Anna, because I think a king usually does have more authority than a queen, if not the same amount. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if he would probably have to do any royal duties, or if Anna would take care of it all, because one, she's born royal, and, she was born into the kingdom, that's her home and all, so, and she knows about that kind of stuff, I'm sure a lot more than he would, so that itself would be really interesting. So yeah, I think that would probably be perfect for Frozen 3, showing maybe Anna and Kristoff's struggles as king and queen, or I don't think it would be too much of a struggle for Anna. I've heard people say that since she's queen now, she might, feel confined to the castle, and that may not be, her, that may not be something she really enjoys due to all those years being alone. But, Elsa went out, in those different stories I mentioned before. And, there's all kind of stories where, actually, I think there's actually more stories about Frozen when Elsa is out of the castle and not doing anything royal. So, yeah, I don't think that would be a problem for Anna, just because it wasn't, clearly a problem for Elsa. So I don't think that would be a problem for her, but maybe some other kind of struggle could happen for her, and maybe Kristoff's could be him being king, and oh my goodness, I bet he would feel so awkward being around being king and being around all those sophisticated people when he was raised by trolls. Oh my word, that itself I think could probably make Frozen 3 right there. That could probably be Frozen 3. I don't know. I mean, again, there's so many possibilities. So many. So, I guess since there's so many, that Frozen's probably could have several movies in the future. They might even have, 10. Maybe not 10, but maybe. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. So yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of possibilities about, what could happen in Frozen. And, that's, some of my own thoughts and things I've heard. So, yeah, just so many possibilities. I might even think of even more once I get done with this. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I really hope Frozen 3 is gonna be good, and I hope it's gonna be worth the wait. And we will soon see if any of this happens. We will see. Oh, but something else I think would be interesting if they did a live action movie of Frozen in the future. Maybe before we get Frozen 3, or maybe after we might get that, because oh my goodness, that would be so cool. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more. Bye.